Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. This is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner. There's Corey Tackman, or as we like to call him on this program, Pig Cage. And then we got our guy Zeke joining us in the middle to break down some cross-country action. All that coming up. First of all, fellas, we're going to discuss this later in the show, so don't get carried away. But what a win for the Vikings last night.
Goal! We started the skull chant already. Yeah, what started as a life lesson for my son last night, and no, we're going to watch this game all the way through because that's what we do. We're going to endure this heartbreak. To him not falling asleep till 2:30 because he was just pumped full of adrenaline watching JJ McCarthy lead the Vikings back last night. He got spoiled. Yeah.
There we go. We'll talk about it a little bit later coming up in the show. First, though, we have to talk about some cross-country, Zeke, because you were covering a race on Long Prairie yesterday. You got a little write-up on the cow, but you break it down. What happened yesterday?
Yeah, it's a very busy week in high school cross country. 3 meets on Thursday. We'll talk about that later in the pod here. But big one yesterday at Long Prairie Great Eagle. The Parker's Prairie girls finally breaking through, getting their first win of the season. Their top 3 runners finished 4, 5, 6. Sonora Frostley, Kaylee Vogt, and Sophie Pfeffer. They win the meet with a total of 63 points. Holdingford was second. Sauk Center girls were third. The Frazee Hornets finish in 4th place. But you look at the boys' side, and my goodness, the Sauk Center Main Streeters, guys, these dudes, they're good coming out of Section 6A. They take 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 9th yesterday. All 5 dudes in the top 9. Logan Weoff, he wins again. He won in Wadena last week. He wins in Long Prairie Great Eagle yesterday. Jordan Drevlo takes 3rd. Zarin Olmchek takes 4th. Landon Bicey takes 5th. And Ben Fredericks takes 9th. And they have a team low 22 points to win the meet yesterday. Holdingford was second, Melrose third, Royalton fourth. ABE was there, Osakis was there, Morris area was there, Long Prairie Great Eagle there, of course. Pillager was there yesterday. So 13 teams at this meet. Parker's Prairie wins it for the girls, and Sauk Center wins it for the boys.
Jeez, just a crazy run for Sauk Center yesterday. My goodness. Anything else stick out to you, Zeke, in the race? Any other highlights, any other things that you found notable looking through the final results?
Yeah, another name to watch from Border West. They don't have enough runners out for a whole team, but Carissa Anderson, she won in Wadena last week with a time of 19:47. She won in Long Prairie yesterday with a time of, you guessed it, 19:47. So back-to-back wins for the freshman Carissa Anderson. From Pillager, Elena Dobson, she set a new school record in Moorhead on Friday, took the 5K in, I think it was 20 minutes and 40 seconds. She took 9th place coming out off of her record-setting performance in Long Prairie Great Eagle yesterday.
Yeah, every runner says this, so I'm not taking anything away from her. Everybody always runs their fastest time in Moorhead, so cool that she took advantage of that and set the school record. That's awesome. I hold school records in nothing other than being mid, and maybe that's even being too gracious to myself. So to have a school record in anything is just really cool. So that's awesome to be able to write your name in the record books like that.
I think I hold an unofficial record at Staples Motley. I think I have the most career stolen bases for the baseball team without recording a single career hit. I had 12 pinch run stolen bases and 0 hits, a career 0-0-0 hitter in high school.
All right, Corey, what records do you own at Sibley East?
Just a misdemeanor. I have no records. I'm nothing.
No.
On the spectrum of all the athletes that have ever come through Sibley East, I am right smack dab in the middle.
You were good enough to put on the floor, did some stuff, great team player.
I will tell you a true story about my high school athletic career. When I was a senior, I was named the male athlete of the year.
Yeah.
And that is because I was one of 3 guys who played 3 sports and didn't have a minor. Everyone else who should have done it had minor consumptions go against them, and I just didn't want to reward that. That's the only reason I got it.
Hey,
you know what?
A win is a win.
You fit the criteria. So you know what? Your name is in the record books. There you go. Congratulations, Mr. Tackman.
Way to be a boring, not fun high school kid.
Way to be the stick in the mud.
Yeah.
You won't be invited to parties. All right. Really cool, Zeke. Hey, where can people find that write-up of the cross-country race? And I know you're covering more races. Where can people find all that coverage for you?
Yeah, WDenaRadio.com or Sports Cow on Facebook. I know Lucky Lindy is Thursday in Little Falls. Purim will be there. I know there's a meet in Pine River Bacchus. Staples Motley is going to be at that one on Thursday. And there's one other meet. I've got it pulled up. There's 3 meets that we're keeping our eyes on Thursday. Ada Borup. The Ada Borup West Cross Country Booster Invite, Barnesville, Hawley, Frazee, and a bunch of other Heart of Lakes conference teams will be there as well. So Ada Borup, Little Falls, Pine River Bacchus, we're covering them all with Sports Cow and WDenaRadio.com.
Moo. All right. Speaking of Sports Cow, that's where you can go to find the broadcast schedule as well as WDenaRadio.com. Because on our broadcast schedule tonight, we have Section 8AA regular season volleyball. Wadena Deer Creek goes north on Highway 71 to reignite the Highway 71 rivalry between Park Rapids area and Wadena Deer Creek. It's going to be a good game. 7 o'clock pregame, 7:15 first to serve on the Superstation K-106. That's 105.9 FM. Streaming online at WDenaRadio.com or the Superstation K-106 mobile app. Here's a little bit of the tale of the tape, guys. The Park Rapids area Panthers, they're 0-3 coming into the season, 0-1 in Section 8AA, 0-1 in the Heart of Lakes Conference, of which I believe it's their second season being fully into that conference. 0-1 in their home floor, 0-2 on the road. It is third year of head coach Alicia Norby. They played Wadena Deer Creek last season. They took them to 5 sets, but couldn't quite get the win. Wadena Deer Creek got that win and in Wadena last September on September 30th. And that's how they got that 5-set victory, did the Wolverines. In fact, Wadena Deer Creek is 3-0 versus Park Rapids in this decade in 2020 in 3 attempts. A couple of years they weren't on the schedule just because Wadena Deer Creek was in 6AA and just kind of didn't quite work out to try and play those section teams. So it's good that these 2 teams are playing each other every year. It's just an easy rivalry, a fun game to put on the schedule. And for Wadena Deer Creek on the season, they are 4-4 overall. 1-2 in Section 8AA, 1-0 in the Park Region Conference. They got their win against Pillager. 1-1 at home, 2-2 in neutral site games, 1-1 on the road. And for the Wolverines, over the weekend, they competed in the Sauk Rapids Rice tournament. They split both of those games. They won 2, lost 2, all of which in straight sets. Wins against Osakis and Brainerd, losses against Foley and St. Cloud Cathedral. Of course, for Wadena Deer Creek, Peyton Gravel has 1,000 kills. They have kind of a new setter in Ashley Pavick, who, again, has done a good job in the early part of the season, but obviously trying to grow into that role. She hasn't set for the last couple of years because she's been on the varsity team, but she was the setter when she was in JV, so giving that senior a chance and seeing how things are going there. Again, first-year head coach Courtney Thunberg. There's just a lot of things that are kind of working its way in this game, and for both teams, they would really like to get a section win and get even in their section games on the season. Because as we talk about in volleyball all the time, the schedules start to shrink here a bit if you're the Wadena Deer Creek Wolverines, because once you get past this, you play Sabika, Staples Motley, there's Monaga that's coming up. I guess that's a Park Region Conference game and section game. They have Holly coming up down the pipe. They have Barnesville coming up down the pipe. They only have 3 more section games on the year after this one against Park Rapids area. So to get that win would be huge for them. And same thing for Park Rapids area. They play a lot of teams on the Heart of Lakes. They play a lot of teams that are in the section, and it's a tough volleyball conference. So for them to get a win here, get a little bit of momentum as they get into their conference game coming up later in the week, they got to go to Breckenridge on Thursday, which is always a tough team to play. They're Class A, but still they've been an excellent volleyball program. So there's both teams kind of feel like, hey, let's get this win on the week. Let's get things rolling. Let's see how it's happening. And you can listen tonight, Superstation K-106, 105.9 FM, streaming online, WDenaRadio.com, Superstation K-106 mobile app, 7 o'clock pregame, 7:15 first serve. And you can find the full broadcast schedule online at WDenaRadio.com or by following Sports Cow on Facebook.
Moo.
Perfect. All right. We got to talk Vikings because it was a great win. Just a great win. But before we get into that, we got to talk about a great chance to win at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Corey, what are we talking about?
It's the ultimate prize giveaway with the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. You could win a Nintendo Switch 2 and a 50-inch TV. It's the ultimate prize giveaway. This is how you enter. If you have a FunZone rewards account already, you're automatically entered. If you're not a FunZone rewards member yet, just scan the QR code on the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade Facebook page, and you are off and running. You need to join by the end of the month. You have until September 30th for your automatic entry. And boy, oh boy, is this a big one. A Nintendo Switch 2 and a 50-inch TV. It's the ultimate prize giveaway from the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. And, of course, proudly, happily sponsoring the Morning Sports Desk. Happy to have them along and happy to promote this ultimate prize giveaway. This is a biggie.
Sign up for that FunZone rewards account. My goodness, a Switch 2, a big old screen TV, ultimate prize giveaway, Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. All right. Vikings get a big win last night thanks to old JJ McCarthy. It looked down and out. It looked like the team was going to get slaughtered on Monday Night Football. The Bears were getting all the applause. Ben Johnson's a genius. Caleb Williams has figured it out. The Bears are back. They have new management. They are confidently run. And then, all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, it's JJ McCarthy. It's Mr. Clutch. It's the Vikings defense coming up. Caleb Williams wilting like a flower in the sun. And at the end of the day, we get to do this.
Go Vikings, let's win this game. Go Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em.
You get the idea. Just a really fun game overall in the fourth quarter. The first three quarters were not fun at all. Guys, just biggest takeaways, just one. If there's one big takeaway, what do you have? Corey, go first.
Social media is so much better the morning after your favorite team wins a football game.
So much better.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my one big takeaway. If my team would have lost, I would have been not participating in social media for roughly, not quite 24 hours, maybe in that like 12 to 18 range.
Yeah, in my lifetime, or the last decade, we've seen the Detroit Lions become relevant. We've seen the Kansas City Royals win a World Series. They're perennial bottom feeders. But the good news is the Chicago Bears suck, and the Chicago Bears will always suck. And Caleb Williams can't fix that, and Ben Johnson can't fix that, and the Pope can't fix that. Chicago Bear is going to Chicago Bear.
I love it. What I'm taking away is my biggest takeaway is that JJ McCarthy, it does have some ice in his veins a little bit. He looked rattled the first quarter. You could tell they were not in rhythm. His throws were not going well. They were getting batted down. He didn't look comfortable in the pocket. There was just a lot of things that weren't going right. And we've seen in the past, and there have been certain quarterbacks that the Vikings have had where when things don't go their way in a game, you can just feel it crumble and snowball and just go out of control, and you just lose the football game. And as the game kept going on, and you really could tell at the end of the first half when McCarthy hit Naylor on that big crosser and it set him up in field goal range and things like that. But it was almost good. Like when the Bears got that pick six, I mean, obviously he was frustrated, but O'Connell after the game said he made the right read. He checked, he recognized the zero blitz was coming. He just threw to the wrong guy. He understood what the Bears were trying to do. He just needed to go to a different receiver on that play. Whatever. But I leaned to my wife on the game and told her, honestly, as I'm coping, by the way, in this moment, honestly, maybe it's a good thing. Even if you don't win this game, let the Vikings get in situations where they just have to pass and let McCarthy just figure it out. And they kind of did, kind of didn't, because they started to lean on the run game more in Jordan Mason. He ran really well. They found receivers. But my big takeaway was JJ McCarthy, the more the game went on, the more comfortable he looked. And not every pass was great. There are some plays he wants back, even down the stretch. But the athleticism on that read option to score a touchdown, the way his teammates rallied behind him, he's got a little bit of him in him. And I don't mean him in the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, not even close. But he does have that him in the sense of remember when Teddy Bridgewater first showed up to be the starting quarterback of the Vikings, and he had the nickname Gump, which was good under major pressure. And they were like, Teddy Bridgewater's a limited quarterback. He can't do a lot of things here and there, but you know what he can do? He can lead an offense, and he can get people to go behind him, and he can get the ball where it needs to go and facilitate an offense around a good team. And honestly, that's all JJ McCarthy needs to be. And while it looked rough, they were able to come from behind and figure things out and get a win despite how ugly they looked, which makes me think McCarthy's got a little bit of him in him.
I want to give a little credit too here. This has become, we're Vikings fans, and we like to talk about all the times our team has crumbled. Right. In these stretch moments. And that has been historically true. But you know when it hasn't been true? With Kevin O'Connell as the head coach. The Vikings are very good in the fourth quarter, and they come from behind. Kirk Cousins came back. I mean, that one wild year, right? They were unbelievable in one-score games, and they would come down that year. They beat Indy, and I mean, Sam Darnold. Every time that this team in the second half, for how many years is this of KOC now running the show?
Year 4.
This team has been able to put the pressure on and come back, and maybe they don't win all the games, but they score when they need to. And I think a lot of this goes to Kevin O'Connell, because the quarterback has been different every single time. And it was nice, obviously, to see these moments from McCarthy where okay, this is we all knew that the Vikings could be competitive if McCarthy could just do some things. And we now know that he can do some things. But man, oh man, having KOC at the helm of all of this, the Vikings have been dynamite, being down, coming back, winning games late, winning in the clutch, those sorts of moments. And I really do, I think KOC just deserves a ton of credit for that.
Oh, no, he does. And I know people talk about, one-score games are fluky and they're this and they're that. Yeah, I mean, a little. They are. I'm not denying that. But also, this is the NFL. There's a lot of one-score games. The Chiefs play in one-score games all the time, and everybody talks about how great they are. The reason the Vikings come out on top more often than not is coaching. It is because Kevin O'Connell keeps his players poised. He keeps them ready. By the way, the Bears had their entire secondary hurt in this game. You want to know why? Because they did full tackling in practice, for weeks to try and quote-unquote toughen them up. And now their team is hurt before you even play a real snap. And the Vikings didn't have that. They went the opposite direction. And you look at Ben Johnson, who, by the way, burned a timeout on a bad challenge. Caleb Williams had to burn a timeout because they let the play clock run out while they're the home team. And then you saw at the end of the game when the Bears scored a touchdown, the Vikings took the ball out of the end zone on the kickoff to get past the 2-minute warning to take a timeout away from the Bears, which let an extra 40 seconds tick off the clock. The Bears got the ball back with 6 seconds to go? If they had the ball with 46 seconds, no timeouts to go 20 yards to get in field goal range, they could have did that pretty easily. But to take away that extra timeout, to take an extra 40 seconds off the clock was huge and basically left the Bears dead to rights. So Kevin O'Connell, again, there's some things he could have done differently, I'm sure. You're right, Corey. He just gets them prepared. They stay in games. They're ready to go. And they just know how to dial up the right play at the right time to get themselves in a position to win. So, looking at this game, too, special teams was huge. Miles Price, we talked about it yesterday, a rookie kick returner, rookie punt returner. There are a lot of consternation on social media of you can't let a rookie be your punt returner. How are you supposed to, win if you're, blah, blah, blah. He's going to muff a punt at Soldier Field and all that kind of stuff. And it runs into the argument of, how you apply for jobs coming out of college and they go, we need somebody with 3 to 5 years of experience for this role. And you're like, this is an entry level job. How am I supposed to get to experience if you don't give me a job? And they're like, sorry, You need 3 to 5 years of experience. And that's kind of what it's like for the punt returning job with Miles Price. Everybody's like, you can't let an unproven guy do it. It's like, well, how is he supposed to prove himself if you don't give him a chance? And they gave him a chance, and he set them up in such great field position. That helped the Vikings. They block a punt. They get a 59-yard field goal from Will Reichard on grass, the windy Soldier Field. Special teams gets an A+ in this one.
Go ahead, Zeke.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Will Reichard setting up for that 59-yard field goal, which, by the way, tied the longest field goal in Soldier Field history. I think that was the big momentum shifter, because watching that opening drive by Chicago, they picked apart that Vikings defense last night. And then JJ McCarthy comes back out. I think he had 2 passing yards in the first quarter or something like that. The offensive line was disheveled. I mean, Kelly was in the tent. Blake Cashman had to go to the tent. You don't have Christian Darrisaw because the turf was garbage at Soldier Field last night. And you're like, all right, it's only one game. And like I mentioned before, I mean, we were super excited to watch the game last night. We started it. We were down 7-0 early. We just couldn't get anything going offensively. And I said to my son, this could turn ugly. I think, what was it, 17-3 or something after the pick 6. It's like, we're going to sit and we're going to watch this, and we're going to learn right now. And the Vikings came back and they won that game. And now he thinks that the Vikings do that all the time. And it's kind of the generation of kids. He's 10. He's really paid attention the last 4 years. So he doesn't know Minnesota Vikings football outside of the Kevin O'Connell era. And he's like, yeah, the Vikings can win every game. They brought Adam Thielen back. Yeah, just give us the Super Bowl trophy already. Big 2-point conversion by AT last night, by the way. I think his only catch.
That was.
Yeah. ESPN's Power Rankings just came out. I just got the notification on my phone. Where do you think they have the Vikings after week 1 for Power Rankings? Where do you put them?
I'm going to say it's not quite as high. I'm going to say they have them like 14th or something.
Are they ahead of every team that lost in week 1 at least?
I think everybody except Baltimore.
Baltimore is the 0-1 team that's in front. That's fair. I think
and Detroit. Detroit is ahead of them yet too. Yeah, Detroit and Baltimore, the two over, and Kansas City. Okay, maybe there's a bunch of them. Baltimore, Kansas City, Detroit, the over teams that are ahead of the Vikings in the power.
I'll say, you said 14th seed. I'll say 11.
They are. Let me scroll down here. 13th.
Ah, dang it! Because here's the thing: as excited as we are about the Vikings nationally, everybody's basically like, "Yeah, you got a good roster, but can your quarterback do it or not?"
Yeah,
like. And we obviously have purple colored glasses here.
Right question, by the way.
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 100% the right perspective view. Everybody's like, how come? First of all, by the way, then nationally, the Vikings do get some play. They played on Monday Night Football. They're playing on Sunday Night Football this week. They have 2 games overseas that are primetime audiences. Like, the NFL does care about the Vikings, but in terms of like nationally, are people like on a bullet #1 Super Bowl contenders? Despite what we think here in Minnesota, it's a great roster. Nobody's denying that. But basically, if McCarthy can do it a little bit, if he can be Brock Purdy, yeah, this team's going to win a lot of games. If he's Zach Wilson, okay, well, he's not. And honestly, like, look, I think even if the Vikings lost last night, I think we would have came on here and would have been like, that's a bummer. But I feel like all 3 of us still would have been like, look, first game didn't go according to plan. You got it out of the way. Never do it again. Like,
it's true, CJ, if he would have played like he played and they lost.
Right.
If he would have played all game, like the first 3 quarters win and they lost, we would not have come on this and said that. We would have been patient, but it would have been a conservative patience.
Right. It would be like, okay.
They didn't look like they trusted him. He didn't look like he trusted himself. It was pretty, the offensive line was a mess. That was pretty bad. That was a pretty bad start.
Look, he had like 5 passes batted down to the line of scrimmage. Just did not look. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing to mention.
I'm not going to say that the P word crossed my mind and ponder, but I did think Zach Wilson in a way, like that would have been maybe the more recent comp of like quarterback gets put in on a great team, like in 23 when Rodgers tore his Achilles, and it was like, all right, Zach Wilson, here you go. Like, this is a great team, and take this Ferrari, take this Lamborghini, and he tries to parallel park it in the driveway and keeps bumping into cars. Like,
The Ponder I saw the Ponder comparison. You weren't the only one who was thinking it. I'm in other text threads, and that name got thrown out a lot.
I didn't believe it. The intrusive thoughts, though, were coming in.
But here's the thing, though, about that is the thing about Christian Ponder is he panicked and he just ran, and McCarthy was overwhelmed by things. Like I that's just as a different look. By the way, it's not a good look. I'm not like defending the look, but Christian Ponder just like it's the fight or flight situation. Christian Ponder flighted, and that was really, really bad. McCarthy just like stood in there, and the question for him always was like, is he smart enough? It wasn't, does he have the arm? Like, it was, is he just good enough? Is he going to be good enough? And he showed enough signs, immediate signs that were not Christian Ponder signs. Christian Ponder signs were bad. This was the team problem.
Christian Ponder's devolved into take the snap. Is Percy Harvin open immediately? No. Get out of there. That was essentially what everything turned into. And yeah, you're right. Like, and you know, I go to Teddy Bridgewater because like people have made the modern comparison of like Brock Purdy. Like there are still people, by the way, who will say that JJ McCarthy's not good enough. And that's fair. Like he didn't do a ton. He had a great comeback.
Football.
He didn't dissuade the haters in a way, but like
comeback in Chicago, how much does that really count?
Right. Exactly. With the way which by the way, Bears fans on social media watching them all melt down was hilarious. My favorite part of NFL games is watching a rival react to them getting beat by your favorite team. My favorite thing is watching. I don't like to watch Vikings fans react to the Minneapolis Miracle. It's the same thing, screaming, shouting, whatever. I like to watch Saints fans react to the Minneapolis Miracle. That's way more fun. But
Saints, by the way, number 32 in the power rankings, and that's tasty also.
Just you hate to see it.
Yeah.
But with the Vikings and with, you know, it's always the thing with Brock Purdy, right? Like Brock Purdy won a lot of games, took a team to a Super Bowl. They won again against a tough team in Seattle on Sunday. And everybody goes, Brock Purdy's not that good. It's the team around him. It's whatever. And the comparison, I'm not the first one to make this comparison, but like, isn't that a good thing? Like if people go, oh, your quarterback's only good because your team is awesome. Okay. Like fine. Like who would I rather be? Joe Burrow, who your quarterback's great, but your team sucks? Like, I mean, is that much better? I mean, if there's only like 5 guys in the league who are that generational type quarterback prospect, the odds are JJ McCarthy probably will never be that. And that's fine. But can he be a quarterback that plays in rhythm, plays on time, gets the football to where it needs to be? And if he develops into that over time, then sure. But you are just going to need him to just be a guy who gets in rhythm, gets in the offense. And that's what Purdy is. That's what Teddy Bridgewater was. And if you put like Teddy Bridgewater in his second year and JJ McCarthy in his second year are in very similar spots, good team around him, good playmakers, get the ball where it needs to, keep the train on the tracks, win a lot of football games. And JJ McCarthy is a better athlete than Teddy Bridgewater is. He's got a better arm. He scrambles a little bit better. Like JJ McCarthy is a higher end talent than Teddy Bridgewater, which is good. But like Teddy Bridgewater won a lot of games as starting quarterback for the Vikings by just getting the ball in rhythm, keeping his team composed, you know, making sure he could do the things he needed to do. And if JJ McCarthy does that, the Vikings are going to win a lot of football games.
Yeah, kind of that plug and play. The same situation we've seen with this team, every quarterback since 1977 when Fran Tarkenton retired. You go through the 80s, the 90s. There was a couple years of Dante in there, but essentially that's what it is build a really good team and then find a plug and play quarterback. And that it's won the Vikings a lot of games.
It's also a decent recipe. Like a recent example would be Russell Wilson and Seattle, right? Like that team was unbelievable, and all Russ had to do was not mess it up, and that team won a Super Bowl. It was Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers, right? He won his Super Bowl as a rookie. And obviously, we're projecting things way far and above where we need to be right now after 4 quarters of football against probably another bad football team.
Yeah. And only one of those quarters was worth watching.
Correct. Exactly. That's exactly right. And but like there is examples of this, you know, Patrick Mahomes obviously ended up being awesome, but those teams were really good. And and then Patrick Mahomes fit into these good teams that already existed. Can I throw out just a few points at you that aren't JJ McCarthy or Kevin O'Connell related that stood out to me from the game, positive, negative, otherwise? The first one is, especially because he's so unseasoned as a player, it's stuck out to me that the preseason's really important, and I don't understand why some of these guys aren't playing in these games. Like, I get the reason to protect him. You don't want to have happen to your team like what CJ mentioned happened to Chicago, where guys are just beat up to start the season and you're already a step behind. But JJ McCarthy's had like 13 total snaps of preseason football, and that was his only experience. And I just think, man, oh man, I still think this, even though things worked out in the Vikings' favor. Am I way off base on that, or do we need to consider preseason snaps more important?
I think for McCarthy it was more important, but I think for the rest of the offense, it probably isn't. And that's the weird balance to get into. Like, do you want to throw JJ McCarthy in with the second team versus like bringing the whole first team in and risking like your veteran offensive lineman getting hurt? But I agree with you. Like, they look like they needed more time to prepare, more like actual game snaps.
I don't care who he's throwing to. I care that he's playing against another team's ones for another 8 plays. It doesn't matter who he's throwing. The rules are the same. 8 steps, break out, balls in your hands. 6 curl in. Like, the breaks are the same. Your dropbacks, all that stuff is. What I care is that you have to throw against Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important.
By the way, that's coming up in a month.
It sure is. All right. Another thing. The Vikings did not get a lot of good pressure in this game. And
later,
we talked about in the preseason, the DBs still on this Vikings team are not great. The front 7 is so good that maybe it won't matter that the DBs aren't great. But if the front 7 is not good, it was proven last night. And Caleb Williams missed a bunch of big throws that changed the flavor of this game. Harrison Smith is obviously out. The DBs for this Vikings club are going to be a cause for concern.
Well, especially because Jeff Okudah on the final play of the game got hurt and entered concussion protocol. He traveled back with the team last night, but because there was a player down in the very end of the game and they had to take a card out to go get him, it was Jeff Okudah, who is the Vikings like number 3 corner. And if he has to miss next week's game at all, we turn to or like there's nobody behind him. So maybe you give Stephon Gilmore, who's sitting on his couch, a call and you say, hey man, want to give it one last run? You already know the defense. You just want to show back up. We'll pay you what you want. Like, that might be a conversation that they need to have this week.
When does Asante Samuel Jr. get healthy? Because I've heard his name dropped all the time.
Like recovering from something that he can't come back from until like midway through the year. It's like I want to look this up. It's because I thought the same thing.
I'm going to Google him and find
it. Jr. Injury. Let me look this up.
Neck surgery. Yep.
Yeah, he had neck surgery.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And he's basically like, he had it in April. And he's going to be out for a while. Like, he might not be able to come back till like midway through the year. So,
number 2 story is Saints free agent target Asante Samuel Jr. targeting second half return. Yeah, he's not coming back for the Saints. Sorry.
He is not.
No.
All right. Third thing. We knew he'd be important, but Jordan Mason was an absolute revelation for me last night. He was the most productive runner on that team. Aaron Jones, what he does catching the ball and pass, like those were all really important. And I love that the Vikings now have 2 distinct backs for 2 distinct purposes. They both can do a little everything. So it's not like they're not telegraphing what they're doing depending on the back that's on the field. But, Jordan Mason was like quietly maybe
he saved them.
Individual standout for me in that game.
I mean, the Vikings running game getting going is what kind of gets in the second half, they just start to run the ball. Mason breaks off a few runs and they get some first downs and it just gets them confidence. And then late in the game, I know they had to punt on that last drive, but on the JJ McCarthy touchdown drive, like they bled clock. They just ground the Bears to dust on that last drive a little bit. And it's why when it's 3rd and 1 or whatever it was, and they fake and they give the handoff, it looks like to Mason, why that DN comes crashing in and McCarthy can just boop it to the outside. By the way, great block on Hawkinson to be able to push. Like, it's not a touchdown if Hawkinson doesn't hold that block for as long as he does and gets into the end zone. Yeah, Jordan Mason's awesome. And once again, another Kwesi, great at evaluating veteran talent, draft talent, still a little bit under question. But again, the 49ers, who are in cap heck themselves, had to just give him away for like a 5th or a 6th round pick. Jordan Mason is going to be huge for this team. Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Minnesota Sports put this out there last night. Jordan Mason might be running back 1 and Aaron Jones might be wide receiver 3.
Correct.
That might be it.
I think it's totally fair. I like that they have their very like Jones is in there to pass block, catch the ball, screen passes, first down early in the I like that they have their defined roles, and I like that it's clear.
Right.
It's not who's going to be, oh my gosh, is it going to be this guy, Ty Chandler? Is he an idiot? Who's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. They know who their running backs are, and I really appreciate that. There's
a little bit of thunder and lightning with the team. That like the dynamic of Jones and Mason. Mason can be your guy to ground, like get a run here, run there. And Jones can do that. But like Jones is a zone runner. He's a kind of like, let him sift through, let him cut back, let him do whatever. Whereas Mason's like, give me the ball. It's the, the Madden meme everybody has where it's run through an MFer's face. Like that's essentially what they're like. We're going to give you the ball, Mason, and you run violently for like 4 yards.
And teams are going to stack, right? No one trusts JJ yet. They're going to make JJ prove it. So you're gonna these are tougher runs, and I like that, Mason. All right, one final thing.
Yep.
That I have is that rushing touchdown from McCarthy, and then in the ensuing possession, that Chicago touchdown. Really neat play calls on ensuing. Like it was fun to watch in those moments. Like two pretty clearly now respected and high-end offensive play callers. Like, I mean, there was just McCarthy was wide open around that corner on that keeper, and that receiver in the back of the end zone. I don't know how you could be possibly that wide open with the ball in like the 7 yard. There's not enough room to be that wide open, and he was so wide open. I just thought that was a neat kind of like back-to-back possessions to watch some offensive play callers do their thing. That was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that touchdown for the Bears. And by the way, huge that Caleb Williams got pushed out of bounds at the 1 or whatever it was, because it meant that they had to run one more play, which took 3 seconds off the clock, which allowed the Vikings on the kickoff to be able to get it under 2 minutes. But yeah, like I think on the play, Johnson had some weird, funky pre-snap motion and then faked a run. So you could see the linebackers bit on the run fake. And then if you look, like there was a wide receiver coming out into the flat. So Byron Murphy, like he had to pass the guy on. Like the linebackers got to take care of him because I got to go cover this guy in the flat. And the linebackers bit so hard on the run fake that there was just nobody.
Yeah, they have more guys on that side of the field than defenders. I mean, I don't know a lot about calling plays, Zeke, but like I think a good way to have somebody open is to have more offensive players than defenders.
Usually that's a good sign, yeah.
All right, guys, one last thing, and then we're getting out of here. This is a Viking-centric, Minnesota sports-centric thing, but woof, man. Caleb Williams on the scripted plays looked awesome, but then he kept trying to do what Caleb Williams does. He thinks it's USC. I'm going to run out of the pocket. I'm going to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to make a play. He can't play within the structure of an offense. He kept missing wide open throws. When you actually, you don't get to play college. This isn't playing around at recess with your buddies and you're scrambling and you're making a play. Get in the pocket, read the field, make a throw. Caleb Williams still can't do that. And that's just such a shame to see that the Bears still can't quite figure it out.
Yeah, who does he think he is? Eli Retton out there and moving the receivers around with his hands and directing traffic? No, he made the throw to Roma Dunze on the sideline in the first quarter. I went, oh no, Caleb Williams has figured it out. And then he missed DJ Moore wide open in the fourth quarter. I'm like, okay, maybe he's still not great. So it's just frustration where you see him make that first throw and then miss like 7 others. It was a shame to watch that last night.
Yeah, there were 3, right? There was a 4th down over the middle. Maybe it was another 4th down later in the game. Those 2 over the middle throws that he missed. And then that DJ Moore in like the upper right-hand corner of your TV. He was wide open, which brings me just as a nice callback to the defensive backs being a problem. But he was wide open, and he just missed a wide open guy. Now, he's obviously still young and still has a lot of talent, and like, I think you'd be willing to take your chance on it. And when you make that catch on the sideline, that throw and catch on the side, like that's superstar level talent that exists. But man, I saw an interview with Trent Dilfer, and he's like, there's plays in the NFL where you might get lit up, but they're 100%ers. Like it's just a thing. Every single time, it doesn't matter. This is the thing that's going to be there 100% of the time. And he missed some 100%ers for that team. It certainly looked like.
Yeah, just tough to see. You just
agree to change our background to a Vikings logo for our meeting with our general manager tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah, I'm in. Who was at the game yesterday, by the way? Went to Chicago with his family.
Sure did.
And just did not have a great time, I'm
sure. No, they had a great time for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, he was on the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier yesterday. He had a good time for most of his time in Chicago.
Yeah, that's just you just imagine the quiet car ride on the way home.
Oh, I would love to be in that car right now.
They would
leave me in the middle of Wisconsin if I was in that car right now.
I think they might just drive you to Guaranteed Rate Field and make you watch a White Sox. Like here, have fun in the south side of Chicago. We're going back.
They'd go east and drop me off in Gary, then go home or something like that.
CJ, do you want to get the end of a podcast button ready to roll here? I think I got a perfect way to end this.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. The Morning Sports Desk presented by the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Raise your hand if you feel bad for our boss and all Bears fans.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.